In November 1964, Ford Motor Company in San Jose, California, built this 1965 Mustang Convertible GT. It had a high output 289 engine, it had custom GT rims, and it came in the beautiful Twilight turquoise color with a black interior and a white convertible top. The only problem is, this isn't my car. This is. My buddy Raymond at the machine shop told me about this car this lady had, and that it had some assembly required. So I got it, and I had to literally drag it onto the trailer with my winch because it didn't have the suspension, rear end, or anything on it. So I got it home, got it off the trailer, and started to take a look at what I just bought. So obviously this was going to be a long-term flip, and so my dad helped me with the finances, and I did all the manual labor. So as you can see, the original Twilight turquoise in the back, and the car was painted red at one time. It even came with a brand new gallon of red paint, which is nice, but it's not the factory Twilight turquoise like my buddy Carlos painted for me, and did a killer job on the paint, gave me a killer deal, and the rest is up to me. So when I got it back from the paint shop, obviously I had a lot of work to do and cleaned it all out. There's the original color, a little more green than it is now, but still the Twilight turquoise. Cleaned it out, got the dash ready, started scraping and scrubbing and sanding on the dash. Everything was in good shape. Floors, the dash, metal was all in good shape, being a California car. I taped up all the holes on the firewall so I wouldn't get any paint through it. Started to primer everything with the automotive primer. Just made sure everything was smoothed out and cleaned up. And again, I'm not a body guy. I'm, engine, electrical, drivetrain guy. But, I was happy with it. It actually looks better in person than it does in the pictures. But moved on to the floor. The floor was in really good shape. I started with the fat mat. Got some insulation. Good deal on eBay. Got a mid-grade carpet kit, so it had nice padding. And then the center console was there all in one piece, but looked kind of ragged. Using my vinyl dye that I love, I shot the plastic with the vinyl dye instead of paint so that it would actually dye the plastic. And then on the chrome upper part, I actually sprayed it with paint and then scraped the leading edges with the razor blade to get the lines in it, and there you go. I had the original dash pad, and originally I thought I was going to cover it with leather. Same thing, I had the original door panels, but I wasn't crazy about it. So went to the dead cow store, and I picked up a whole dead cow for $300. Really nice leather. I got some hardboard from Home Depot for $7, and started to make some door panels for it. I wanted to jazz up the door panels a little bit instead of just being plain flat, so I made these little pony cutouts and glued them onto the door panels before I covered them with leather, and just wanted to try something different since I'm still learning the leather work. So it makes it a little bit different, not just so plain Jane. Also goes with a theme of the car with all the Mustang pony stuff, and I used stainless steel screws with some plastic inserts instead of the spring clips. The door handles were in bad shape, and so instead of buying new ones, I just had lots of leather, so I covered them up, rolled them up like a burrito, and there you have leather door handles and armrests. I got the shifter mounted, but the center console was missing the piece that goes around the shifter, so I had to make one out of aluminum, and then I ended up covering that with leather just to make it look a little better to match. So the dash pad I just replaced with a mid-grade, and then my painter painted the speaker cover to match, and I just left it, make it different. I painted the entire steering column before I put that in, and the quarter panels for the back were all solid. They just looked like crap. So again, using the VHT vinyl dye, I shot those. I also shot the seats because all the seats were in really good shape. These are the original seats and just need a little bit of touch up. And you can see the inside doesn't look too bad. It's, in the glaring sun, it doesn't look that great, I know, in the picture, but it does look a lot better and looks better in the still photos. So, I like it. Looks nice. I do have the original steering wheel and horn, and again, it doesn't look great, but I didn't want to spend $200 on a new steering wheel, so it's about profit again. So guess what? More leather. So to continue practicing my leather work, I cut a strip, got it wrapped around the steering wheel, and started sewing with some blue suede thread, and just did it by hand. After I polished up the horn button a little bit, I painted the spokes flat black. Was going to scrape the outside so just the round parts were black, but I liked the way it was, so I left it. The original gas tank really wasn't in bad shape. It's clean on the inside, and I just spruced it up with some galvanizing paint and went to work on the trunk area. So I put a sealer around it, got the gas tank dropped in, put some padding over the gas tank. I actually used the crate from my transmission and cut that and to fill in the gap and raise up the floor of the trunk a little bit. Then covered that with some carpet runner rubber and some Lowe's outdoor black carpet, and I even found a lug wrench that pretty much matches the paint.
Okay, here is our 400 horsepower, well, about 415, 420 horsepower, 302. This has got a newer 90s 302 roller block and the older 289 heads with the Edelbrock intake and a Holly 600 on it. This is about 10-to-1 compression, full roller cam, roller rockers, keeping the Mustang logo theme throughout the car. Got the Scott Drake air cleaner with the pony on it instead of the Cobra, because it's not a real Cobra, it's just a tribute. And of course I had to get the Scott Drake air cleaner. Came with a paper filter, which I had to replace with a K&N cotton filter, which came pre-oiled with red oil, which just would not work on this thing. So I had to buy the air cleaner, had to buy the K&N air filter, had to buy the filter cleaner spooge, and had to get the blue oil for the filter. So it's about $250 worth of air cleaner there, but to my knowledge, one of a kind blue Cobra style air cleaner and filter with the matching breather, of course. And right now we've got these wire separators that I had laying around, but since the air conditioning is going to go right there, I may have to change those, so we'll see what happens. Went with the cast iron exhaust, like on my previous video. I made sure they were straightened and flat, and used a silicone on it. No gaskets ever on cast iron exhaust manifolds, because they leak and they never came with them from the factory. So the copper, ultra copper, works just fine. And then of course I replaced the Ford power steering pump because they're crap and they leak and just a big pain in the ass. Replace that with the GM style power steering and the adapter bracket. Again, we'll see what happens when I put the air conditioning on. Got the chrome oil filter cover, which I usually don't care about, but another thing I had laying around, left behind by a customer, so I thought I would throw that on. And I'm waiting for the bottom pulley to come with the air conditioning kit. And let's see, and we have the GM style alternator. This is a 1-wire 100 amp alternator, so it's going to work better than the factory. Gets rid of my external regulator, yada yada yada. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, keeping up with the pony theme from the door panels and whatnot. Another thing you'll notice is, wherever possible, I use stainless steel bolts, and partially for the looks, partially for the next guy that has to rebuild this in 50 years. And it's only a couple dollars more overall, and like I say, this is a build to sell, and it's not just about profit, it's about profit margin. So I think that the extra money I spend doing stainless steel and everything will actually pay for itself and make it easier and faster to sell. And we're just about ready to drop this thing in. So hopefully I'll be talking to you guys soon when we drop this pig in, and should be fun for the entire family. 400 horsepower, automatic transmission with overdrive, convertible in Southern California with air conditioning.